Okay.
Live.
Hi guys, hi everybody. Welcome back to another A Queen's Wit Stories episodes. My name is Sheila, also known as Madame Bay, and that's Mercy.
Hi everyone. Hi, I'm Tura. I'm the Tura on Instagram.
Just need to make sure that I'm sharing this with everyone while we wait for some people to go online. Mercy, maybe you can share it on your Facebook. Tell us about your jealousy experiences. Do you ever get jealous?
Hi Francesca. Hi. So today we're going to be talking about jealousy. So without further ado, let me share my screen. So we're going to be talking about jealousy and envy. Just a disclaimer before we start, we are not in any way experts on this topic. We are only sharing our experiences and learning. We know that so many people go through this, but don't really talk about it.
So, basically, Mercy and I had this conversation where we're talking about jealousy and envy. Because if you guys follow me on Instagram, I told you the other day, Mercy and I have personal projects that we are working on. But most of the stuff we work on are similar because we are both in the creative industry. And we have a very open relationship with each other, and I found myself being jealous of Mercy for a certain reason. After Mercy told me her idea, I went to myself and I was so happy for her, and I'm like, oh my god, Mercy is going to get all these views, blah blah blah. But the next thing, guess what? I found myself being jealous of Mercy. I was like, oh my god, why am I jealous of Mercy? I started asking myself, is she better than me? You know, one of those things, and people don't like to to dig deep into this thing. So Mercy and I were having this conversation, and then we were like, what is jealousy anyway? So we went down to the dictionary and found that the definition of jealousy is feeling or showing envy of someone or their achievements and advantages. For example, he grew jealous of her success. And then envy, on the other hand, is a feeling of disconnect or resentment, longing aroused by someone's possessions, qualities, or lack, or whatever. We went further to explain the differences between envy and jealousy. This is what we found out, me and Mercy. We thought that envy was the little part of jealousy, like envy was the lighter part, but it so turns out that envy is actually it's deep rooted.
Basically, jealousy breeds envy, and envy becomes a habit. It becomes a personality trait that this person is an envious person. Or, when someone has jealousy traits, they are exhibiting envy. So with that, we started asking ourselves, like, what makes you jealous of other people? I'm going to start what makes me jealous and which parts in my life have felt jealous and how I have dealt with that. So the first one is, if I want the same thing as another person. Usually when you want the same thing as another person, what happens is that you feel when they get what you want, and it was the same thing, like you're in the same competition, even it can even be in the same competition, and then they get what they want before you get what you want, and then you start feeling jealousy. You're like, and jealousy starts from things like you thinking like the person doesn't deserve whatever the achievement is, or saying, oh, I deserve to have gotten it and stuff. Hi Shafil. Hi.
Yeah, I don't know. I can't see people's comments.
So it starts like that. We're like, I wanted the same thing as this person, and they ended up getting it. Like, what the hell? So for me, I think most of my jealousy comes from there. Right now, I cannot really give a specific example because I understand that's really generic, and I understand so many people.
I'm going to give specific examples. For example, when it comes to competition, the niche I'm in is very saturated, and because of that, I tend to have people that are my friends, and a lot of times they start at maybe a later stage than me, and then they come and then they don't become necessarily better than me, but because I suffer from not knowing myself, which is one of the reasons that could cause you to be jealous. I'm always jealous because I'm competing with people that I don't even understand, that we're on different lanes, we do different things. Sometimes I can be competing with someone who is a fitness expert. I'm not a fitness expert, but just because we're in the same line of health and wellness, I'm like, oh my God, this person is better than me. And because I think they're better than me, I don't put in as much work. You know what I mean? So Yeah, that's a kind of jealousy I have.
I'm going to talk about the next one, like when someone gets something that you actually wanted, and sometimes they don't necessarily want it, but they end up getting it anyway. Like I've seen this, like hi everyone, hi, and I've seen it in so many. For example, maybe let's say in marriages, and there's two couples, and one is really trying hard to have a baby, and then the other one is not really even trying at all to have a baby, and then the one that is not trying hard to have a baby ends up getting the baby. um so you can see where the jealousy comes from. Like it would be hard for you not like to be happy for this individual because you want the same thing and they are getting it. I mean, you don't want the same thing, they're getting what you wanted anyway. So in that case, I see like I see where
Do
jealousy
you
comes.
guys get jealous? Tell us about your jealous experiences in the comments.
Yeah.
We'd like to
And
know.
like and share the video, like and share the video.
Yeah, so another thing that could cause me to be jealous is laziness. I'm talking about my own examples, but this could be you, and if this is you, just comment in the let us know in the comments below. One of the things that happened to me is I give myself a lot of work and a lot of stuff to do, and then when it's time to actually put in the work for real, I get overwhelmed, and during that overwhelmment I get lazy and I don't do the thing. So in this not doing the thing, I start feeling jealous of people that actually put in the work. I don't know if it's jealousy or I used to think it was envy. I used to think it was envy, but it's actually jealousy.
I
It's, when you feel like, oh my God, this person is doing everything, or they do something that is really cool and you judge them. Maybe they take, for me, I'm giving examples of myself. I'm in the fitness industry and someone takes like a nice picture of themselves and you're like, why is she showing this? Why is she showing that? That kind of thing. Yet, if I was creative, I could have done something that I wanted the person to see, what I wanted people to see, but I'm actually there bitching. Am I allowed to use that kind of language? Hating on someone for their work that they're putting in?
Yeah. I think the other thing we need to understand is laziness plays a huge role in it. Like, for example, when someone starts to work on themselves, or like go somewhere together, let's say you leave the country together, and then someone starts to work on themselves and they like do something with their life, and they're actually putting in the work to be better, to be a better being, to have more money, to have more relations, to have more security and all of that. And then you feel like you're left behind because you you're not putting in the work basically. And then you start being jealous just only because you're lazy. And this stems from also with close friends, couples and stuff, yeah, whereby you're really close friends and then you say, oh, let's start a diet, let's start dieting. Hi everyone, whoever's coming, please share and like. um so if you start like a diet with someone and then they stick to their diet like for 90 days and then you drop out of yours, later you're seeing them in a bikini taking photos for the gram, and then you start feeling jealous. You're like, oh man,
I,
should have done that, like, and then you start feeling jealous and you don't even know where it's coming from. And it happens also in, like, it can happen in couples, like where someone says, I'm going to take it upon myself to work on my spiritual well-being, mental health and all of that stuff, and then the other person is probably not on board, and then yeah, it goes downhill from there on, like where the person is just not happy for your achievements, not happy for you, and that's where jealousy comes from. Like, I don't know, I can't give an example,
I
like
have another. Me, I have
personal example.
expound on on both of the things that you've talked about just now. You talked about losing weight with someone at the same time. I've gone through that where I had to lose weight and then I didn't lose weight and then my friend lost weight and then I felt bad. And then they post this kind of pictures and instead of being happy for them, you come from this way of that girl. How can she even post a picture like that? She's cheap. I don't know, whatever word you can think of. She's showing off. Why is she showing off her body? All those things. Yet deep down, it's you being jealous, wanting to be like that person. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That kind of thing. And then I don't know. Let us know what your experience is in the comment. And then another example. You gave an example of spouses. Me, I've been in a former relationship that was messed up. Of course, I don't know how to explain this, but sometimes you be in a situation like Mercy said, you're both trying to work on yourselves, but then one person puts in the work and then the other person doesn't. There can be two people in the world, and one person makes, let me say, $2,000, and another person makes $500 every month. But then the person that makes $2,000 is very not mentally stable, and the person that makes $500 is mentally stable. So the person that has more advantage. I actually read this from a book, Seven Habits of Highly Effective People, that people prey on others just because they have a certain advantage, and instead of working, like, you go separate direction, and this person that has the upper hand starts to get jealous of you that doesn't have anything but is trying too hard. I don't know. So it becomes, that's how couple jealousy happens. So even friendship jealousy doesn't even have to be a couple. Even as with you and your best friend, the same thing can happen to you, you know. Like, you have the same goals, and then your friend gets something, and then you start to be jealous because you always used to being the person on top. Now these other tables have changed, this person is on top, so you start to feel a certain kind of way. You know, that kind of jealousy that then later stems into envy.
Yep. So, this is the juicy one I want to talk about. I want to talk about like capitalism is the main cause of jealousy and envy in our reality today. You know, for example, you can be all of you, like in fact what you just said. Sometimes there are some people who have like mental capability. They have the right brains. They have everything. You know, and someone else who doesn't have, who is just only connected, ends up getting bigger and better opportunities that could otherwise have gone to this other person who is actually talented. And then you see that's where jealousy comes from. That's one point. Another point could be what's going on right now on the gram. You see these girls are like in Dubai, or like, you know, everywhere, you know, 5-star hotels, 5-star dinner, boats, yachts everywhere. And you're like, okay, they are doing their thing and they have, like, you know, arrived and stuff like that. And sometimes that makes you feel like, oh my God, going off, oh my God, this, oh my God, that. It's just because of capitalism that makes you feel like a certain lifestyle is what you should be, what that it should be your life goal. Hence that American dream, like go ahead and do whatever it is that you have to do by any means possible. You know what I mean? So you understand that certain people have actually gotten their riches by any means possible, and you're putting yourself under pressure because you feel like you need to be like these people, and you know, you literally start feeling envious and jealous, and you don't even really know that this is just marketing and capitalism and all that stuff. So I feel like capitalism has played the biggest role in causing envy in our life.
So the next thing is going to be personal growth, and I like to talk about that one particularly because in the previous video we were talking about miseducation, and one of the things that we wish that people that we were taught in school was personal growth, because I don't, like, you learn so many things, but you don't know yourself at all. So recently, me, I like to give examples about my life. I don't know, like, for some reason, because all the things we talk about, we've both experienced, and I don't mind sharing my personal, you know, stuff. So my birthday was in April, and I have a friend who is into astrology that made me check my astrological line on different planets, because every time you do astrology, apparently on every different planet you are different star sign. So we go through the characteristics of on my birthday and the time I was born and blah blah blah, where I was born, and one of the character traits was jealousy. I'm like, I'm going to go deeper into this thing. So I started to do research on my jealousy traits, and I noticed that I get jealous so many times, and that's how I started working on myself. That's the personal growth I'm talking about. Like, because we don't know ourselves, we don't take time to learn certain things about ourselves. So jealousy doesn't necessarily have to be a bad thing, but because you think it is a bad thing, we take it on the negative end. But when you learn yourself and take time to do that personal growth work, like, you use it for your to your advantage. Like, I knew I was jealous of Mercy, I talked to her about it, but because we have a very open relationship, I started thinking like, why am I jealous? And I realized that the reason I was jealous is because she was doing something I wanted to do, and I thought she was going to do it better than me. But no one has to be better than the other. We just have our own thing. She does her thing the way she does, and I do my thing the way I do it. It doesn't hurt. Like, it's not a competition. But because, again, like the first point we said, we've been taught to compete all the time. In school, you're competing. This one is smarter than the other. This one does things better than the other. You feel the need to compete, yet there is no need to compete. So every time I feel jealous of a person, even if I'm jealous of another girl because she's, I don't know, with a guy I like or something like that, I got deeper into it. I'm like, why am I jealous of this girl? Because in most cases, it turns out that I think she's prettier than me, or she's, I don't know, not smarter than me. Most cases, not smarter than me, sorry. But most times, like, prettier than me or something better than me, and you find yourself competing in this toxic stuff that it comes from jealousy and turns to envy, and it gets deep rooted, and you start doing funny things that you don't even do normally. You know, that kind of thing.
So I wanted to say, like, me, my example of how sometimes in my line of work I've been jealous. There is this girl I worked with when I was still doing Kampala Fashion. When I did Kampala Fashion Week and I did my photo shoot, there is this model that I used as my model, and like that was in 2016. Yeah. So fast forward right now, like she has been killing it. She first got signed to South Africa and some models in South Africa, and now I see her on magazines all over Europe, like all over, like Vogue, um, what's the other, Esquire. I see her on so many, like, Vogue. I think she was even in Vogue Italia. So, and so many other brands use. I think she was on an H&M campaign, you know. So it's like sometimes when I see her, like especially when I see her on big things, because I recognize her, And I remember when I did the first photo shoot, she was just a normal girl from Uganda and stuff like that. When we did the first photo shoot, it was I looked at her and I was like, hey, please don't forget me when you get famous, because she had everything to be a supermodel. I was like, please don't forget me when you get famous and stuff like that. And that was in 2016. So fast forward, now she's doing all these amazing things that I dreamed of doing myself, working for Vogue or working for a big fashion brand and stuff like that. And when I see her sometimes, I feel not anymore though. Not anymore, because now I have understood that different journeys. Like after saying, like, yes, you have to understand that you all have different journeys, because despite the fact that on top of that we have a very big age difference, like age gap, and then on top of that she's a model, I'm a designer. And the other thing is, it's what I realized is that you might feel like someone has a one up over you. Hi. You might think that someone has a one up over you, but you don't realize that you have a one up over them too. You know what I mean? Because in that time where she has been getting her superstardom, like her supermodel modelship and whatever, I have been working on myself. I've been working on myself, understanding myself, and I'm at a point whereby I feel like there is nothing, no darkness in my life that I haven't faced. So in that regard, like, it made me realize that, they're two different things. She might have had the things that you wanted, but then again, are they still the things you want actually right now? Probably not. So yeah, that's one of the ways in which I learned how to mentally, like, stabilize myself, not to be envious of another person. And sometimes it's actually someone who you love, and it's just going to be toxic for yourself, feeling bad for another person and their achievements. So yeah, that's my real life example on how you can easily feel jealous, how you bring yourself back. You bring yourself back and focus on your journey, because it's not anyone's journey, it's your journey. So the other way, about the other way the other thing we'll talk about, like how you can deal with it and how you can look at it. is what I just talked about, and I'll give an example here. I'll give an example of Kim Kardashian and Paris Hilton when they had just this shows you that everyone has their own journey and you should be content with your own journey. Like when Kim had, before she even started her show, she was in that Paris Hilton show, and she was their stylist organizing Paris Hilton's closet and stuff like that. And then of course Kim did what she had to do. I mean, she was aspiring to have that kind of life, obviously, but then when tables are turned, that now Kim has, she doesn't even have a one up over Paris. No, she doesn't have. It's just that everyone had their turn. So she was working for Paris, and Paris helped her come up. When she came up and she's where she needs to be, she gave back to Paris by making her model. So it means like you should be
And sometimes, Mercy, it's
inspired.
not even giving back.
It's like you should be inspired as opposed to getting like getting jealous, because like when you get inspired, you do what Kim does. When you get jealous, you do what many other friends of Paris could have done that we don't know about now. So, yeah.
Yeah, and for me, my favorite way, I've even already talked about it earlier, of how I deal with jealousy is by learning myself and understanding what really is going on, self-intervention, because in most cases, jealousy is shows jealousy in most cases shows you something that you want. It doesn't have to be like, oh my god, that person has something and I don't have it. In most cases, it's you want that something. It shows you something that you need to work towards, and then if you don't work towards it, that's how envy comes up. For me, that's my belief. And every time I feel jealous, I like to talk to the person about it, which is so weird. It's something I've adopted very recently, and I like Mercy and I like all my friends right now because they understand that about me, and I approach it and I talk to people about it, and I'm just open about it. I'm very open about my jealousy, by the way. And yeah, let us know how you guys deal with jealousy or envy in the comments. Would really like to know, because yeah, like it's a serious thing that people don't really talk about. That's what I think people don't talk about jealousy at all. I think people don't talk about envy because they think it's this bad thing, it's an abomination, it should never happen. But it's okay, like we are humans and it happens, and we've been uh conditioned to be jealous and conditioned to be competitive all the time, but we shouldn't be. So tell us about your jealous experiences, tell us about your envy experiences, be it in relationships, friendships, workplace, I don't know, whatever it is, let us know. I don't know, also tell us what you would like to watch.
So the other so like the solution best would be like we should look into community based economies and economics, that are more sustainable as opposed to these capitalist, like you can get as much as you can as long as you can afford it. Like what makes you better than another human being who is on the same planet Earth? So we should get like community based, we should try to get community based economies so that people don't feel jealous of another, because for example, here in Switzerland, it's very leveled that you cannot really tell that a person you're seated next to is a millionaire, because you're going to be having the same like type of transport, or you know what I mean? Like it's a bit leveled whereby people are not working out of jealousy, or they are working towards one sort of goal, which is to feel good as a human being and be able to afford the basics, so what happens with capitalism is, I mean, there is still a bit of capitalism. If only we would focus on the positive sides of it and not, push for the negative side, then we wouldn't have so many people that are so jealous of one another, that, oh, this person has a plane, he's a billionaire. Like, for example, there is a person like Jeff Bezos, and then there's a person like in Uganda who does not even have, how that person, like, that's what I'm saying, he's worth hundreds of billions of dollars, and there is someone who is not. That's the gap of capitalism that doesn't make sense, and we should look into community based economics. Yeah. That was a little bit on a large
Yeah,
scale,
on a
but
large scale.
necessary.
So yeah, that's
And
well.
then let me see. So yeah, the other thing I wanted to say, we need to recognize that we are on totally different journeys. All of us are totally on different journeys. One person's journey is another person's journey. You cannot think that what I'm going to get is what you're going to get. What you're going to experience is what you're going to experience. What another person experience is not what you are going to experience. So we have totally different abilities. We were born on different
I don't know.
dates. We were born on different dates, everything. So you cannot be the same as another person. So what's meant for another person is not meant for you, and what's meant for you, not meant for. For example, what's her name? I'll give an example of Tupac and Nicki Minaj. They've never won a Grammy. They've never won an award, and they've been singing and singing and singing. Like for example, Tupac died like he's dead legend. Sorry, excuse me. He's a dead, he's a dead legend, but people are not considering him that, oh my god, he died without a Grammy. No, he died with so many other honors that the Grammy doesn't even matter. So we are all on totally different journeys. You cannot start competing with another human being because you're going. Sometimes it's like a non-runner competing with the same ball. You need to stay in your lane, understand what your journey is, and I think the best competition is with yourself, because then you understand, oh, yesterday I did this, let me do this better, or yesterday I did that, I cannot do that again. So that's the biggest competition you should be in. You should be with yourself. You should be with yourself, your inner self, your all the conflict of jealousy you should be having should be of your older self, not someone else or other people. I mean, that's how I rationally tell myself, bring myself back so that I don't get carried away by someone else's dream and chasing someone else's dream, not understanding that, like, even though we are both, for example, I'm a fashion designer, and sometimes you see some labels doing something that you wanted to do, and because they have the money to do it, they've already done it, and you're like, damn, man, like,
Or you tell yourself you can't even do it because another person has done it, but you do it different.
yes. So it's been really like that. I had to tell myself, come back, come back, and don't be jealous of what you don't know, what you don't
Which brings me back to the beginning of this live when I was telling people how we decided to talk about this. I was jealous of Mercy, who is a designer. I'm a nutritionist. Like, I'm jealous of Mercy, and we want to do the same thing. Like, we have this idea for a YouTube video for our channels, and she wanted to do something that I thought about doing, but just because she told it to me first, and her way seems so much more cooler than mine. Which, by the way, if you are not already, subscribe to Mercy's channel. What's your channel, Mercy? It's Adatura,
Tura apparel.
and mine is Madame Bay. And yeah, you'll see what we are planning to do that is similar but very different. I actually thought about it, Mercy, and I'm like, oh my god, it's so different. But why did I feel jealous? I swear, because I don't know. I don't know if it's because I thought you were going to be better than me. But at the end of the day, even if you're better than me, if you win, I win. When you think about it, if you win, I win, because you're like my backbone right now.
Aww.
You know?
Anyways, so the last thing, there is a last thing I want to share. Yeah, my screen. So this is the last thing. Yes. So how do I deal? Another way how I deal with all of this mess is, what was the thing that you read?
Whoa, accident.
My memory is terrible now. Oh yeah, self intervention. Oh yeah.
I talked
Um,
about self-intervention.
yes. So the thing that I usually do is literally have a self intervention, because honestly, around last year or beginning of this year, there was this girl that I thought, not that I thought we were friends. Let me even not lie. We were not friends. We were trying to be friends, but we realized we couldn't be friends. So she started to do something that I was already doing, and she did better than I was doing. And I was so pissed off. I was angry. I was like, she copied me and she's doing better than me. How can this bitch even? How? You know, it played with me for like 3 nights. I would wake up angry and like really think about it. I'm like, what's wrong with people? Why can they just, like, I don't know. I don't know why I really felt bad that this person was doing whatever it is that they were doing. So I realized that it was consuming me a lot, and I had to sit myself down and have an intervention with myself and be like, hey, so what's up? Why is this chick torturing you? Why is she torturing you? Why can't you just find your own self and stop being tortured by this lady? And then I started to think like, why am I jealous of her? And then I started saying, oh, it's because she's doing the same thing as I was doing, but then she's that, like, she's using vanity and using her body, and I think that's why it pissed me off, because I was like, I don't like the fact that she's using her body, all those body aesthetics and all those sexy aesthetics to get her attention, which I can also do, but I'm only giving value to people. And it's easy for her to just front her body and her sexiness without giving value and get attention. And then when I started answering myself those questions, I started realizing that, okay, it's actually not me, it's society, you know, it's society that people are doing this, it's society that people are doing this because I lost my train of thought.
I remember your train of thought because I know this story. You're saying it's society that's
Yeah,
making.
yeah. Like society makes you like that, it makes you look for superficial things, that's why girls who show their bodies and boobs and ass and all of that stuff end up having so many followers,
No
or
offense to anyone that does that, by the way. It's fine. If it's your thing, it's your thing.
of course, no offense to that at all. Man, spread your legs, I don't care, have fun. um But what I've noticed about society, it's like they get attracted more to the person who is giving them superficialness, or the, like, someone who is showy, basically. Someone who is showing off will get more attention. Remember that Kelly Rowland song, "Good Don't Get Attention," as opposed to you who is giving people value and stuff. So I started evaluating myself, and I'm like, you know what? That is not really her fault. It's society's fault, and I shouldn't even drain myself because we're on two totally different journeys. She wants to be something else, I want to be something else. We have two different crowds, we have two different business models. Like, if I go back to my business model, it's not the same as hers.
Oh, and by the way,
So
at the end of the day,
I
we
had
also came to the conclusion, Mercy, that she didn't want a business. She just wanted to copy you because she thought it was cool. You are trying to work on a better cause.
yes.
Her, she wants to be
So I
cool,
calmed
which is
myself. I intervened within my own self. I sat my ass down and I was like, girl, it's not really worth it. And the other thing we forgot to talk about, where jealousy comes from also, is because
coping.
some people copy you. Yes. Some people copy you, like you tell someone your idea and then they steal it and then they do it better than you. And then it's really hard for you to be happy for them because you're like, fucking bitch, took my idea. Now you're coming to me like telling me how you succeeded at stealing my idea. So that's where jealousy comes from. Hi, Benja.
But
That's
at
where
the end
jealousy
of the
comes
day,
from.
But at the end of the day, Mercy, sorry to cut you off, even if someone steals your idea, just so you know, they will never, that's only one idea. The fact that you came up with that idea, you can come up with 20 others. Keeping yourself locked up in that one idea because you're jealous of a person is going to keep your mind there. You know what I mean? And that's why you have to self intervene, because if you don't self intervene, you're going to be mean. You're going to be bitter to everyone. Do you know one of those singers who are always pissed at young children? Like, no offense, I'm not saying names, but everyone has these singers that you wear something, they're like nyabo lagawa. You know that kind of thing? You're like, dude, just
Like,
because you didn't live your life, can you leave me the hell alone?
like someone keeps on poking at you or picking on you for no like serious reason because they probably didn't live their life, you know. And I see it right now. Everyone in our 20s, there are a bunch of girls who are very prude, I'll call them, and they didn't want to party and stuff like that. And they grow up to be bitter, yet it was their choice. They grow up to be bitter, like literally looking down on everyone, even on young girls who are living their life. They're like, ah, they're showing off. Why are they? You know, you just end up being an angry person. So, guys, jealousy is a disease. It stems into envy and it can kill. Mind you, it can kill. It
And
can.
just this is not anything to do with envy or jealousy, but just because Mercy pointed it out at the end, like knowing yourself comes into play in so many different aspects of life. These things of being angry, like it's not. You know, when you're in a place and you put yourself in a situation, for example, a work environment, and you put yourself in a situation, you're the one, Mercy actually taught me this trick, you're the one that always says, I will do this, I'll do that. Then people take advantage of you. And then because you don't know yourself, you start being very angry and very bitter and envious of other people that they're not doing stuff. You end up, you're the one that does everything. But you put yourself in that situation, there's no one to blame but you. So if you don't self-intervene, if you don't like look at it on that, you take yourself out of a situation and self-intervene, you're going to stay there, you're going to stay stuck, you're going to start being pissed at people, being jealous of people, being envious of other people, yet it's your fault.
Yep. So,
So
you guys, that's all we had for today. I hope we didn't talk too much. I hope you learned something. Please share. Please like the video. Please share and like the video so that many other people like. We are nosy. We want to know. We want to know what makes you jealous.
oh yeah,
Oh,
we're
by
very
the way,
nosy.
it's not funny. I put this up on. Let me even say that I cut it out for my Instagram. So I put this question out about like, do you feel jealous of other people on Instagram? And out of 80 people who saw this, it's only 2 people who said that yes, they do feel jealous of, like, they do get jealous on Instagram. And I was like, hold the fuck on. Like, all these 80 people, like 78 of them are like, okay, you know, they don't sometimes look at some photos and be like, oh, that's nice. Or they don't feel like, ah, you know,
Which is
like,
so funny. Like I
which
have
is
a,
which is very deceitful of them, you know. Like, guys, just get real. Like, if you're not real with yourself, you cannot be better. So you like lying to yourself and saying that does not phase you. That right there, that you're deceiving. You're deceiving yourself, because you are admitting that, okay, yeah, it does affect me, and understanding how it affects you. And you'll never get affected. You know, you can never be lied to. You can never be lied to by all these girls in
it's
Dubai
so
and
weird. The
like.
people that responded on my Instagram responded the opposite. First, I asked, do you guys get jealous? And there is no person that said no. Everyone was like, yes, yes, yes. There was no. It was 100% yes, I get jealous. And
I think I asked a very direct
yeah,
question.
you asked a very direct question. Like, if you, this is for me, what I normally like to do on Instagram when I'm asking questions is that I ask one generic question, like, do you get jealous? Yes or no? What do you get jealous of? Then people start to tell you the different things. No, people are not going to be like, when you say Instagram, someone might not even comprehend in their heads during that time. It's like a very wide thing. So someone is going to say no, of course. But of course, people get
But
jealous.
yes, all of you guys on my Instagram who said no, stop lying. Stop lying. You need to admit, admit and say
Otherwise, that shit is going to cause you constipation.
yes. That stuff is going to cause you constipation. So please stop lying.
Yeah.
Anyway, you guys, thanks for giving us your time today. That is all that we had to talk about. If you know anything that can help us, you know, spread the word about jealousy and how we can stop people from being envious of us, you
And
know.
personal growth generally, or if you guys would like us
And by
to
the
talk
way, if
about
you're out
anything.
there and you're envious of me, please don't be envious. It's just a day by day struggle.
Also, you only see the highlights of
And you
life. You
only
don't
see the
see,
highlights, you don't see the background stuff. So please do not be envious of me. Do not jealous me.
don't
Then
jealous me.
so bye guys. Thanks. Share. Tell us what you think, what makes you jealous, what you liked about the video,
What you'd like to
what
see.
caught your eye, your ear, what made sense, what did not make sense, and what you'd like to talk about. Like we are here to talk about all the topics that people don't talk about where we come from. So
And yet those
feeling
topics are the ones that are supposed to help you grow. You know what? Yeah. We're
feeling
here
down.
to educate you with our little education or miseducate you. You never know.
So feeling down. If you Eden Saite, thanks for your time. And we'll see you guys next Monday. Bye.
Monday. Bye.
Ask yourself if you're jealous. Ask yourself.
Think about it and get deep down. Why? Pourquoi?
Let's end.